Greetings, friends. As always, it's an honor to welcome you back to Rick's Garage. Today I have a 2012 Jeep Patriot in the shop. A few weeks ago I did the front brakes on it. It had a metal on metal situation and it was making a terrible racket. When I took it for a test drive, with all the noise it was making from the front, it was difficult to tell anything else. I thought there was some noise coming from the back. I wasn't sure what it was, but like I said, with all the noise coming from the front, I really couldn't tell much of anything. After I finished the brakes, I took it for another test drive, and sure enough, there was some noise coming from the back. It was either the differential or a wheel bearing. So we've discovered that we have a bad wheel bearing on the right side rear. That would be the passenger side rear. And if you look, the whole wheel is actually loose. The wheel bearing is so bad that the wheel is actually loose. So I'm going to reposition this vehicle in the garage, give me enough room to work, and we'll come back when we're ready to get started. We used our cross member to jack up the car evenly. That left our jacking points available for our jack stands. We chalked the wheels on the other side. We're leaving this jack in place as an added measure of protection. So we're ready to start working on this thing. Okay, I'm going to spray this axle nut with a little bit of penetrating oil. This will be a straight on shot, so I'm going to spray the penetrating oil on it. So next we're going to go ahead and remove the caliper and the caliper bracket. I'm going to try to take it all off at once. So I'm going to undo these 14 millimeter bolts that go to the carrier bracket. Loosened up easy enough. Sorry, I'm blocking your view. All right, we got that one out. Okay, next we're going to try to get the lower one off. All right, that's coming off fairly easily. Okay, that's out. And so now we'll see if we can slide the whole thing off of there. Okay, very good. And we'll find something to hang that up. All right, I'm going to try to tie this caliper up out of the way. The reason we do that, we don't want to stress the brake hose. Okay, that's going nowhere. That's well out of the way. Now let's see how lucky we are. Let's see if this rotor will pop off. Looks like it wants to. But you know what the problem is? I may have to adjust the brakes a little bit. So what we have to do in order to get this rotor off, we have to adjust the emergency brakes. So we have to remove this little cover here. Well, I kind of pushed it in. I didn't mean to do that, but it doesn't really matter. We have to take it off anyway. So I'm going to get a light in there and see if I can see the adjuster. Okay, I found the adjusting screw. I like to use these old style mag lights. The reason for that is you can adjust the light to the beam to a point, and it's nice for seeing inside things. So I was able to find the adjuster. And we're going to see if we can, here we go. This should be loosening in this direction here. Let's see if we get it loose enough now to get this off. Yep, okay. So next I'm going to get this little washer out of here. I'm going to take a magnet and pull it right out very easily. No need to struggle with that, just grab a magnet. Now I'm going to take a small brass hammer. I'm going to give this a few whacks. See if it's loose, and it is not loose. I want this axle to go back a little bit. Well, that doesn't seem to want to budge. So we'll have to get a little less friendly with it. Okay, we've got the heavy artillery here. We're gonna give this. All right, that's good. Made easy work of that. Now we have 4 bolts on the back side of this plate that hold this whole assembly on, and we're gonna have to unbolt them. So the part of the stud that's coming through, I'm gonna try to soak a little penetrating oil on it. I like to use Croil. I think it's the best stuff on the market. They do not sponsor me, by the way. I buy this stuff with my own money. So I'm going to see if I can find the ends of these studs and kind of spray in there a little bit. Okay, I think I've got them all pretty well lubricated. I'm not worrying about getting any oil inside here. A little bit of oil will help lubricate the emergency brake mechanism. And if I get any oil on the pads, I'll clean that off with brake cleaner. Alright, so first thing we're going to do behind here is try to pry on this ABS sensor, see if we can get this out. It should pull straight up and out. Looks like it wants to come out. There it is. It's pretty crusty and rusty, but we'll clean it up. Hopefully it'll still be good. All right, so I've got to get these 17mm bolts out. There's 4 of them. Okay, I have a breaker bar on this thing. My God! All right, I'll have to put an extension on the breaker bar. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing to turn. Finally, it moved. My God in heaven. Oh. Woo! All right, I was okay if I had snapped it. I was going to be okay with that. But it looks like it's moving. All right. So I'm going to get the impact wrench out and blast it out the rest of the way now. My God, I got it out. Looks like the penetrating oil did help a little bit. It's got some wetness on it. So, I'm going to struggle with the rest of these off camera. Okay friends, I'm back at you here. I managed to get the other 3 flange bolts off camera. You saw me get the first one out. I used this impact socket with a short extension. I was able to hammer it onto the flange bolt. I used a breaker bar with the assistance of a pipe to crack it, and then I was able to blast it off with my impact gun. My impact gun didn't seem to have the power to get it off without cracking it first. And the same went for the other bottom one. The other bottom one, I had to do the same thing, hammer this on, crack it, and then use the gun. Now I had to get a little bit different setup for the top, and I wish I had shown it to you. For the top, they weren't quite as tight, luckily, as the bottom ones. I was able to blast them right out. And this is the contraption I use. It's a short 17mm impact socket, that looks like a 6-inch impact extension, an impact swivel, and a short 3-inch impact extension. I was able to get it right on there with this and blast the 2 of them right out of there without too much difficulty. So that's done. Alright friends, with the bolts out, before I remove this thing, I'm going to take a little paint marker and I'm going to mark the location of the sensor so that I'll know how it goes back in. Okay friends, what you see here are the tools that I'm going to use to blast that hub out of the knuckle. I've got a bolt 12mm by 1.25, same as the flange bolts I took out. It's a little bit longer. I'm going to screw that in 2 or 3 turns. I'm going to put a socket on it, an impact socket. And I've got this special attachment for my air hammer. It'll fit right on the socket, and you can hook it in there and you can blast away at it. This is a nice little attachment. It's designed for kind of impacting stubborn bolts and nuts, and the impact will let the penetrating oil get in there and help loosen them up. But it also will work good in this instance. So let's see how this goes. Okay friends, I'm going to install this 12mm bolt that I purchased. I'm going to screw that in a few turns. Okay, that ought to be enough. Okay. I'm going to take my air hammer with that special adapter I just showed you. All right, let's see how that worked out. Looks like it's just about out of there. That worked out great. That was very quick, very easy. All right, so I just got to remove that screw, and we've got the hub disconnected. There was no danger of falling on me because I had the screw there. All right, very good. Okay friends, let's see how we can get this hub separated from the backing plate. I'm going to spray a little of Croil on here. As you know, it's my favorite penetrating oil. Alright, let's try bashing it off with a big old hammer. It worked. Okay. Friends, I just want to show you what's going on out here while I'm working in my nice warm garage. We're having a blizzard of sorts, and doesn't seem to be any end in sight. Looks like there's near a foot on the ground now. Wind is blowing, and so we're not going to try to clean the snow up till tomorrow. We'll pull out the old snow blower and give it a go. Friends, we're going to clean these surfaces up a little bit. This one's got a bunch of penetrating oil on it, so I'm going to spray some brake cleaner just to dry it up a little bit before I put my die grinder on it. While that's drying, we'll start sanding this one a little bit. Now, I've got safety glasses on, so just keep that in mind. You should be wearing your safety glasses. Probably should have been wearing your safety glasses all along. Okay. Let's see what the other side looks like. Alright, that's pretty good. We just got to clean that up a little bit with a rag. Okay, my Dremel has a little round sanding drum. Be perfect for cleaning the inside of this up. Okay, that cleaned up quite nicely. Now I'm going to do the same thing down here to this backing plate. Okay, that's good enough. Like I said, we don't want to resize it, we're just trying to clean up the rust a little bit. Now, I just want to clean up this end of the axle here, the part that mates up with the bearing. Just put a little brake cleaner on it, and I'm just going to kind of wipe it down with a rag. Get that cleaned up. It's good enough. Okay. So now I'm going to put a light coating of anti-seize on all these mating surfaces. It's kind of going on heavier than I want, but I'll wipe it with a rag afterwards. Good. Okay, we're almost ready to put this back together. So I want to pay a little bit of attention to these bolts. I don't want any trouble trying to put them on. So as you recall, I mentioned that I had to pound the socket onto them to get them to fit. So I took each one of these onto the wire wheel on my grinder, and I just want to make sure each one fits the socket nicely. So don't have to worry about that. That's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp each one of these in my vise. I'm going to chase the threads. Now if you don't by now, anybody that's interested in working on vehicles, modern vehicles, should have a metric tap and die set. Standard tap and die sets don't cut it anymore. All the cars are metric these days. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine actually was cleaning somebody's house for them, cleaning their basement, and they found a nice standard tap and die set, and they told him he could have it, and he was all excited about it, and he called me and wanted to know how much it was worth, and I told him it's almost worthless. Nothing is standard anymore, it's all metric. So what I'm doing now is taking the proper die and chasing these threads. This is a M12 by 1.25. And this right here, then these will go in nice and easy. The bearing has brand new holes, so these should go in nice and easy, and I can probably put them in with my fingers instead of struggling to tighten each one in a cramped location. So I'm going to do the other three off camera. Chase the threads on all three of them. And then what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of anti-seize on them when I'm done. Okay friends, the last thing I'm going to do is put a little dab of anti-seize on each one of these bolts. You don't need a lot. Okay. Okay, the last thing I want to do before attempting reassembly is I want to try to clean up this ABS plug a little bit. I've got a very soft wire brush, and I'm just going to kind of clean that up as best I can. Okay friends, we're ready to start reassembling this. I've got the bearing in my hand. Now, if you recall, I put a mark on the other side of this on where the connection for the ABS goes, and it's right smack between these two bolts. So when I install this, I want this right here between those two bolts. So I'm gonna put this in position. Okay, that comes through nicely. And we're going to send this through. Okay, I'm going to use the axle bolt and washer to kind of hold that in place till we can get those bolts in. If you recall, this is a 32 millimeter nut. Alright, so that's going to kind of hold that in place. And let me get that on a little better. Alright, that's enough to keep it from falling around. So now we just got to kind of push it in and line up those holes. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I certainly cannot see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, we gotta push that in a little bit. Once you get one started, the rest should be a piece of cake. All right. Okay, that's not bad. Now, I want to confirm that my sensor is exactly where I marked it, and it is. So that's good. All right, let's get another bolt started. Okay, I apologize, friends. As I was tightening this bolt here, the camera went dead. So we've got two more to get started, and I'm sure I'm absolutely blocking your view in doing so. All right, got that one started, and one more to go. I'm going to shut off the camera and do this one off camera because I don't think you can see, and neither can I. So with the camera out of the way, I might be able to see to get this last one started. But you get the gist of what I'm doing here, and I'll come back when I get that in. All right, friends, we're ready to torque these hub bolts. I've got my torque wrench here, and it's set to 77 pounds. We're just going to go until it clicks. There it is. Okay, 77 pounds. I'm going to go ahead and do the others off camera because you're probably not going to be able to see anyway. And I'll come back when I get them all torqued. Okay, with all of these torqued to spec, the last thing we need to do back here is install the ABS wire. So the ABS wire goes through this hole. So let's see if we can get it through there. I'm sure I'm blocking your view, and I apologize again. All right. Got the ABS wire through the hole. Now, when you install it, the flat side goes toward the wheel, and the side that is not flat goes toward you. Okay, so we're going to try to plug this in now. All right, so we've got that in. That's as far as it goes. It's pressed all the way in. So as far as back here, we're done. Okay, friends, for all intents and purposes, I'm calling this job done. All that remains to do is to put the rotor back on, adjust the emergency brake, put your caliper back on, only 2 bolts to do that, and we have to torque the spindle nut to 181 foot-pounds. We can't do that until the wheel's back on and the car's on the ground. Now, you may recall when we disassembled the old hub that the spindle nut retainer was missing. So we've got to order another one of those and put in a cotter pin. So that's all I've got here at Rick's Garage. I hope you enjoyed this repair. I certainly did not. So thanks again for watching. Before I go, I will post 2 videos to your left. Should you find them of interest, feel free to click on them. And to your right, as always, will be my avatar in the form of my trusty German Shepherd. By all means, feel free to click on that should you wish to subscribe. So thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you all very, very soon.